How would you feel if you made a company millions, if not billions of dollars, and you did not receive a single payment for this? This is the reality for many college athletes, and today I will be giving a speech on if college athletes should be paid, yes or no. And in my opinion, yes, they should. We will be discussing how the players matter, because they definitely add a lot to the sport. And we will be discussing the game, how it matters. We will be talking about how the future matters. And we will be talking about how money matters, because in the end, if there's no money to pay the athletes, then the athletes cannot be paid. And if there's no money or revenue coming in, then it's an impossible task. Um, Personally, I have been an avid sports fan my entire life. I have watched many sports. I'm not biased on either one. I will watch just about anything that's on ESPN. And I think I have been in the atmosphere of sports for so long that I have a valid argument and a valid reason to talk. And also, I've played sports my entire life, so I know what it's like to be an athlete. And I have never played on the college level, but I do know many who have played on the college level, and I think I am qualified to at least give my best shot at explaining why I believe college athletes should be paid. As an introduction, this has been a point of controversy for many years, even today. And I want to make it clear that in 2021, the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, allowed players to make money on NIL deals, and that's what they're called, NIL deals. But this was very polarizing because at the time, players were not allowed to make money. But in 2021, the NCAA, which is the corporation over sports, allowed players to make money through a thing called NIL deals. This, as you could imagine, greatly changed the collegiate sports landscape. And although players can be paid right now, I want to make it clear that this is still a argument of discussion and a point of a topic, because um, people believe that it's bad. People believe that it's good. Some people believe that it should be revoked. And today I want to discuss if that's the case. First thing I want to say is that the players matter and they have an importance. A sport would not be played without an athlete. A sport would not be a sport without a player. It is worth noting that college athletes bring attention, they bring recognition, they bring clout and fame to their school. They make their school what the school is. You would not think of Alabama without the great football program. You would not think of Georgia without the national championships. You would not think of the schools that you think of without the college programs in basketball, football, baseball, mainly the big major sports, but even the minor sports as well, because they're just as important. In 2019, D1 athletes, and this is according to Zimbalist, D1 athletes generated $15.8 billion in revenue, according to the NCAA. So if you believe that athletes are not important and they do not matter, look at that stat and rethink that, because D1 athletes generated billions for their collective schools. And this is according to the NCAA. Athletes create an atmosphere unlike any other. They make history. They make impact. They bring personality. These are things that generations flock to. These stadiums, as you see behind in the picture, they flock to these things. You, in no other sporting event would you pack, maybe besides soccer and the FIFA World Cup, would you pack 100,000 people with the same color on to chant for one team, for one, and it goes beyond racial divide. It goes beyond political divide. It literally is just for the sport and for the players and for the team. These players create an atmosphere. If you've ever been to a game, you know that the atmosphere is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And the history and everything about it is just, it explains perfectly of why they should be paid. And secondly, my second point is I want to explain why the game matters, because sports should be kept competitive. Sports like football and basketball, as you probably know if you have watched sports, they have been dominated by a select few teams, and repetitive outcomes can make viewers uninterested in watching the games. One example of this, according to Golick, was that the 2020-2021 college football championship and I'm not sure where it was played, but it was played between Alabama and Ohio State. It drew an audience of 18.7 million viewers. And you may say that's a lot of people. But while it is a lot of people, it's not a lot for college football. It was the lowest viewership since the 1998 season of a championship game. And that was before they played like real championship games. So this was because, and if you've followed college football, you know, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia have dominated the scene for the past 10 years, basically. And these four teams have pretty much won every championship for the past decade. And viewers are getting tired of this. And this is because these big schools have a lot of resource. They have a lot of fame and prestige, and they can get these recruits in. And this was in a season which NIL deals were impossible to have. And this was also during COVID. So that shows that viewers are really uninterested. But with NIL deals and players being able to make money, it allows other schools to pay players to come play for them. And it allows littler schools and smaller schools to recruit better players so that there can be a more competitive playing field, and it can make viewers more interested. Teams with little prior success in the sport can recruit better players to play for them. And the game is important simply, and as you see, that's a picture from the Duke Carolina game probably decades ago. The pageantry of college football, of college sports in general, is unlike any other. Fans come far and wide to support their team. The rivalries between schools are amazing. It gives fans a reason to support, and rivalry is a reason athletes choose some of the schools they go to. I'm sure that many players choose to go to North Carolina, because they want to play against Duke. And I'm sure some players choose to go to West Virginia because they want to play against Pitt. It's just a given that rivalries are important to the sport. And this is why we should pay the players, because we should try to preserve everything we can of this wonderful game. Thirdly, I must say that the money matters. And like I said in the intro, that if there's not enough money to pay the players, then we cannot pay them. It definitely matters. And the facts are that the Power Five college sport conferences, they are the Atlantic Coast Conference, ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, and the Pacific 12, or the Pac-12, generated over $2.9 billion in revenue from sports in 2020. That was according to, I think, a university. It was under the thing of, should college athletes be paid? Why and why not? Although revenue from sports is high, and this is something on the opposite end of this belief, that people believe that players should not be paid. Although revenue from sports is high, some sources say that expenditure is greater than revenue for many schools. And that is true, according to multiple sources. In Ballast, he did say that, but according to multiple sources, this is true, that athletic expenditure is greater than revenue for many schools in sports. But I must say, that's not a proper argument to counteract players being paid because of NIL deals. NIL deals, players can make money from not only the university, but from various sponsors. There was one guy from Georgia, he was the quarterback. He got a sponsorship with Raising Cane's. There's some who have sponsorships with other fast food industries. There's some have sponsorships with not fast food, just stores in general. So it's very possible for a player to have a sponsorship with not just the university, and not just to make money from the university, but from sponsors and from other people that can pay them. This means that the money is there. So all in all, the future matters. The next generation of athletes is what is on the line here. It is important to leave the next generation with sports and laws that will allow them to succeed, not only as men and women, but as proper citizens. And we must pay the players for the benefit of college sports. If we want the sport that we know and love to stay around for much longer, we have to adapt with the changes. This will benefit fans, athletes, the game, and most importantly, future generations to come. We discussed that players matter. We discussed that the game matters, money matters, and more importantly, the future of children and their love for the sport matters. So I must say, it's up to us to preserve sports and collegiate athletics to the next generation.